Hi, my name is Kate Posey, and I work for Family Health Centers as a CHW2, a community health worker 2, in the behavioral health department. I was diagnosed with breast cancer 2019. I had a normal appointment for my well woman exam with Blue. And at that exam, I had mentioned to her that I felt some lumps in my breast. And Blue did an exam, and she indicated that I should probably get them checked and have a mammogram. I got a call from Confluence. They asked me if I was driving or not, and I said I was not. And I remember I was at home on the phone with them, and they told me that it was cancer in my right breast. It was a shock, but again, as an optimist, I was like, this isn't a big deal. This isn't capital C cancer. This is just a little minor thing. And in hindsight, I will say it was not a minor thing. And I'm so grateful that Blue assisted me in getting the follow-up care to do the imaging and to also do the biopsies and to begin my process. After the surgery and I had begun to heal, they waited about a month or so. They do the pathology at the time of the surgery and remove, because it was a mastectomy, everything that was breast tissue in that breast. And it is all sent to pathology. Once that is processed, they get a report back. They use that information to determine the course of treatment. I was diagnosed as stage 2B. And I think the reason I was stage 2B was that the cancer was of significant size, and also it was growing very fast. And it was in one of my lymph nodes. I think right around the second session of the 4, I did have hair loss. That was the type of chemo that I had. Some people have chemo that does not lead to hair loss, but mine did. And I started losing my hair. At the time, I was a single mom, and my daughter was 9 years old. She was in 3rd grade. And this was a really big deal for her. I decided to include her in shaving my head party. And we had a nice time, actually, when I decided to finally shave my head. It was when I ran my fingers through my hair and that, and just ended up having a whole handful of hair in my hand. And I thought, this is the time. I don't want to have it keep falling out. And so we had a get together, and she had a buzz of clippers with her dad, and we co-parent together. So he was there, and she shaved my head and saved some of my hair as a special thing that she still keeps to this day. But my hair is now fully back. The final part of my treatment was to have radiation. I did that radiation in Seattle, which I do regret. I think it was hard to be away from my daughter for so long. At the time, I thought that disrupting her life and having her go to Seattle or leave her friends and school would be harder. But I think it was confusing that she didn't know where I was going when I went over there. And so my family, my parents, my dad lives in Seattle, and I would stay with him during the week and have 5 days a week of radiation every single day for 7 weeks straight. In the end, it took probably the whole year. All of those started at the beginning of 2019 with the diagnosis and ended in the late fall, actually in December even, with some final reconstructive surgeries that I had to do. It was quite an undertaking. They were really aggressive with my care because I was considered young. Putting that in quotes because I'm not that young, but I think like around 40 and under, you get priority. I was 40 and 41 at the time. I had that year. I'm very grateful to, of course, still be here and be a mom and be of support to people with FHC or in our community who are experiencing a similar path and a similar diagnosis. And it's very scary. And it's also something that you can move through most of the time and leave it in the rearview mirror. I highly recommend getting support and seeking support from the people in your life, but also the professionals in your life. If you have a PCP, if you're with Family Health Centers or another healthcare agency, to ask to see a social worker and find out what exists. I encourage everyone to take comfort in that knowledge that many of these cancers and illnesses are survivable, and getting support, whether that be from your personal networks, your church, your social service agency in your community, your healthcare network. You can find things you might not even know existed. So try to keep your spirit in your process.